And good morning, all. Welcome to the Roundtable. My name is Alex, and I'm here with Theo and Rahid. And we have a great show for you today because we have our special guest, Miss Sullivan, on with us today. We have a couple questions for her regarding the current athletic season and a little personal questions, just because we're curious. How was your summer? Let's start easy.
It was good. So it started a little late with lacrosse winning back-to-back championships, which was a really fun way to end the season. And boys tennis was playing pretty late too, in the championship series. So it started late, but I did a lot of time on the Cape, and I have a brother that lives in Green Bay, so I went to Green Bay, and then I have a sister that lives in Cincinnati, so I went to Cincinnati. So traveled a little bit and got to see family, so it was good.
Feel bad for your brother. The Packers this year aren't doing too hot.
I know. We grew up there, so I think, it was a bit of a shock of how the Packers did after all the drama with Aaron Rodgers. I kind of loved it, actually. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How's the current sports season going so far?
The fall season's going great. We just so I don't miss anyone, let's see. So football had an awesome win to start the season at Weston last week, 42-6. Our offense looks very strong, as does the defense. Today will be a big test. Nipmuc's quite a bit better, so I think it'll be a good test for the boys playing today. Field hockey had their first game a couple days ago. They won. They beat Framingham in a close one, 1-0.
Oh,
so
that was a nail biter.
Yeah, they had a good start to the season, and they've got Dedham today. So they've got a young team, but I think they'll do really well in the league. Girls soccer is crushing it. Waverly Sumner has scored a majority of our goals, like 4 or 5 goals, I think. They're 3-0-1. They had a great game against Dedham here. They tied 0-0, but it was a really hard-fought game. And then who else? Let's see. Boys soccer got their first win the other day against Bellingham, 1-0, which I've got to get up to Matt Sharon on that one because he had 2 clutch saves. It could have easily been a tie, and he had 2 back-to-back diving saves to give him the win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love to see that.
And then let's see. Golf continues to dominate. Curtis Bowman and Ben Schroeder are kind of leading the way with shooting the best shots, and they're 3-0 right now. They've got a heavy schedule next week, playing I think 3 matches. So they're 3-0, and then boys and girls cross country are both undefeated too. They both got big wins against Medway and Millis, and I think Corinne Foreman and Toby Sager are the 2 leaders for the girls and boys teams, and they're doing really well too. So it started off really strong.
Yeah, good for us.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
Miss Sullivan, how has it been having fans back to DS?
It's been awesome. I've got to give it up to what you guys are all junior seniors, right?
Yeah.
The junior senior class is coming out to games, which is really fun to see. I think our field hockey game the other night, I think it's the most students I've ever seen at a field hockey game. It was really, really nice to see. And I think it really helped them, secure the win, and they felt really supported, which was really nice to see. Last year, we started with the fall, no fans, the winter, no fans. Football, we started to work into having fans in that fall 2 season, and then the spring we got it back even more, but now everyone's back without masks. No one's having to sign in with a QR code. It's just a lot more laid back. So it's been really fun to see a lot of kids come out to games. Boys soccer, girls soccer, field hockey. Tonight we have our first home football game, so I'm sure it'll have a good crowd tonight too.
Yeah, I know I'll be there.
Yeah, good.
6:30. Everybody better be there.
6:30 whiteout, I've heard, right?
Whiteout.
Yeah. No, having fans back has been great. I just think it's such a fun, healthy thing for our students to be able to do, after practice, or if you're into the theater and the arts and you go home and do your homework after school and then you come to a game. I just think it's a great way to use your time and be around your friends.
Yeah, I forgot how enjoyable it is to come and watch games because it's been like a year and a half since we've even been able to, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really nice to have students there. I'll tell you, watching games without student fans there last year made it quite less exciting.
It was just missing something.
It was, yeah. I think you guys, from what I've heard, just really enjoy watching your classmates all play.
Yeah, it really adds a lot, dude, to have a crowd, and we don't really We aren't quiet in the stands, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. Even if it's 10 kids, like you definitely hear them scream. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you manage to schedule all the games with so many conflicts in sports?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a multitasking process. So the TVL is a great league that we play in, and we come up with schedules preseason, 2 or 3 seasons before. So we already have our winter season set. We'll have our spring season set here pretty soon, and then it's just working with your coaches, and rainouts are going to happen more in the spring than they do in the fall. In the winter, you've got to work around snow days, but it just takes some organizational skills and working with the league and rescheduling and the referees and stuff. So it's not too bad. Our league is a really good organized league, and that helps a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Ms. Sullivan, so we were wondering what factors go into determining who gets the turf for games and practices?
Yeah, that's a very hot topic. I
feel
like
yeah,
every
a
year,
lot of
right?
drama over there.
Yeah. So it's a pretty fair schedule. Once games start, it can become a bit of a game facility depending on when the game times are. So all 4 turf sports football has all night games, so that helps open up the turf a lot. But then soccer, field hockey, and the other soccer, boys and girls soccer, they each get 3 night games to pick, and their coaches and captains and seniors kind of pick what games those are, and that'll open up the turf for whatever teams aren't playing. So I try to pair football and field hockey. We'll split the turf together. The 2 soccers will split the turf together every other day. If there's a 4 p.m. game, then the turf isn't available, and a team can come back at 5:30 to come use the turf after that game. So it's a pretty fair schedule of just you just alternate days. The 2 coaches, whatever, field hockey, football, Coach McGill and Coach Ryan work together. They usually each take half the field, or the soccer, sometimes Coach Grusek and Coach Gundez will say, hey, I'm good on the grass. You can have the full turf if I can get it next time, because we play them. They kind of work it out depending on who they play that week. Yeah. Soccer seems to like the full field a little more. So
Yeah, I know there's a lot of different beliefs around who should be getting the turf right now, but it's good to know. So if someone's coming to DS to watch a game, are there any COVID requirements or precautions that they should worry about?
Right, yeah, so there is no mask wearing, no QR code scanning, all of those things like we had last year, so it's really nice you can come to the game and you don't have a mask on. The players aren't having to have a mask on like they did last year, which is really nice.
Yeah.
There's no game modifications, like in soccer last year there was no headers, and field hockey had, they played 7v7 instead of 11v11, so they had a lot of game modifications that we don't have this year, which is really nice. So no, it's really, come, be safe, and have fun. And
great.
Yeah.
A lot better than last year.
Yeah, very different than last year.
Now, something I've been wondering about personally, how does the flex block factor in the way sports run after school?
Yeah, the flex block is really nice for athletics in the sense that if, field hockey has a game today at Dedham at 4, we can dismiss them at 2:40 and they won't miss any academic class. So that's really nice that we have that flexibility to use. So we do use that for pretty much any away game, because they start at 4 o'clock. So you think if you get out at 2:40, you'd be on the bus by 2:50, 2:55, and then on your way probably there around 3:15, 3:30. So the golf team probably will use it the most. And maybe even a little before the flex block, but other than that, everyone else should be going out during the flex block. So that's been a really nice thing, that they're not having to miss math, science, history, English, things like that.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I can tell you as a senior, we all love the flex block too.
Yeah, so you guys just go to your cars. Yeah.
And now on a personal note, what was it like growing up in a football family? Like, did you get to watch any games on game day in the stadium?
Oh, yeah. I've watched a lot of football growing up. So I was born in Worcester, where my dad coached at Holy Cross. We lived there for a couple years, and then we started moving around a lot. I'm one of 5, so my 2 brothers both played football. One of them played for my dad at A&M. The other one played at a Division III. So I've been to a lot of Texas A&M games. I've been to a lot of Packer games. He's coached at the Seahawks, UCLA, the Houston Texans, the Miami Dolphins, all over. Yeah, Tulane. So he's coached He's coached all of Nauset High School up on the Cape, so he's coached all over. So I've been to a lot of football games. It's a big part of my life. I really love it. I love all the sports, but just growing up in football, it is really fun to watch our team at Dover-Sherborn do so well and work with Coach Ryan, and he's got a great staff too. So I do have a soft spot for football, definitely.
And did you have any favorite teams out of all of that moving around? Is there one team that you really enjoyed watching or supporting?
Yeah, so I went to junior high, high school, and college in Green Bay. So, that was my favorite town to live in just because that's where I grew up. My best friends today are all from living in Green Bay. And then I went to grad school, and when I was little, I lived in College Station, where Texas A&M is too. So those are the two where I spent the majority of my life until moving back here. So I would say Green Bay's got like a really special place in my heart. It's a very cool, safe, small town to grow up in.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. Everyone knows everyone, unfortunately, and big sports, high school sports town. I played 3 sports in high school, so it was a great place to live. So.
What sports did you play in high school?
I played volleyball, basketball, and softball in high school. I grew up playing tennis, but then I went to a Catholic high school, which is tennis was much like here, where you had to be basically a college-level tennis player to make the team. So I chose, and it's also a fall sport in Wisconsin, so I chose volleyball to just go with that. Yeah, the sports in Wisconsin are a little different. Like boys soccer is in the fall, girls soccer is in the spring. Girls tennis is in the fall, boys tennis is in the spring, so they kind of swap seasons. And then golf, but golf does that too here. I think it's for facilities and things like that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they do it a little differently.
Yeah, so boys soccer, they had a nice win against Bellingham on Wednesday for the varsity team. And Connor Keating scored a penalty kick, which led them to 1-0, having a win. And like Miss Sullivan said, Matt Sheeran had a clutch save to seal the win, but they did sadly lose to Dedham earlier in the week. But JV2 and JV1 have been undefeated, and JV2 defeated Millis 5-1, and JV1 beat Dedham 2-1.
Yeah, the JV teams have had a great start, and it was nice to see the varsity team get that first win, which I think Matt had a big part of, which was nice to see.
Yeah, let me see it.
Yeah.
And speaking in terms of football, obviously, as Ms. Sullivan said, the boys beat Weston 42-6, and tonight we've got our home opener against Nipmuc. Some of the players to watch are John Bennett and Henry Murphy, as they were just named in the Boston Herald this week as in the Division 5-6 high school football players to watch. John was named a Metro West Daily News Player of the Week for the first week of the season. Bennett had 3 TDs and a forced fumble on defense against Weston. The JV football lost to Quincy 0-20 in their first game.
Yeah, and speaking of fall sports, girls field hockey will also play tonight in Dedham starting at 4. Field hockey actually opened their season with a win against Framingham 1-0, which is exciting to see, especially with all those new fans supporting the team, as you previously mentioned.
Yep.
And the new coach, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And varsity girls soccer with a win against Millis for 3-0, tied Dedham 0-0, and beat Bellingham 7-0.
7-0.
Wow, they are on fire this season.
They are. Yeah, they look really solid. They have a lot of goal scorers for them. They move the ball around really well. They play together really well.
That's good.
Well, I also know there's a good amount of girls on that team that play club soccer, too, so they got all really good backgrounds.
Yes, yeah.
And then the junior Waverly Summer scored all 3 goals in the win against Millis and has 4 goals in 2 games. Waverly is up for High School Girls Soccer Player of the Week in Metro West Daily News this week. Go to their site and vote. Yeah, Bennett and Waverly, both in Metro West Daily News.
Yeah.
I guess we must be doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. Those 2 players have been crushing it on the field.
Yeah, they must be putting in work.
Waverly and her little sister, I think, had a goal in the Bellingham game, too. She's a freshman on the team, too.
Yeah, runs in the family.
Yes, yeah. They're 2 great soccer players, and then John, obviously, has been a football standout since he got here.
Absolutely,
it's been fun to see him do well, and even some new faces of Brian Olsen is new to the team. He had a touchdown last week. Emilio Cabe had a touchdown. Afosa Amadi had a touchdown. So it's nice. Dan Sullivan has done a phenomenal job of really moving the ball around to a lot of different guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Love to see that.
Yep.
And then the JV girls soccer with another 2-0 win against Millis, and they beat Dedham 4-0. And then JV boys soccer with a 4-0 record this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just speaks for itself at this point.
Yes.
And the varsity golf wins against Medfield in our rivals 218 to 224 with Curtis Bowman and Ben Schroeder scoring 2 over par with a 34, and 34 must be lucky numbers as they again shot a 34 against Hopkinton on Wednesday, but the JV lost to Medfield 283 to 263.
Wow.
Yeah, those were 2 big wins for them. Hopkinton especially, I know the boys were nervous about. So Hopkinton and Westwood seemed to be the really big matches this season, so that was a big win for them.
Yeah, and I know from baseball, Curtis has had some killer swing mechanics, so I'm sure it transfers to golf.
Yeah, definitely. It's a couple. Yeah, Ben Schroeder too is on the baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both doing really well. And then Owen Bingham, Tim Hill are both really good players too. So, yeah, they're pretty stacked.
The boys and girls cross country are both 2-0 so far this season after they beat Millis this week. The teams will take on Dedham next Tuesday at home, but things are looking bright.
Yeah.
Don't know too much about cross country, but from what it seems like, we have a really solid team with some good captains.
Yeah, they dominate in the TVL, the girls and the boys. Toby Sager, Owen Comiskey, Cameron. They're
Thompson,
all Cameron Thompson.
Class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those are those 3 guys stick out to me with cross country, and then the girls. Corinne Foreman is phenomenal. Erica Hill, a sophomore, has kind of jumped into that top group, which is nice to see. She's a very good basketball player, and I think she does cross country to stay in shape, and she's turned into a pretty good runner. So
that's good. And as professional as our teams may be playing, if we move on to the real pros, the Pats this week look great.
Yes.
Sad to see them lose, especially after being so close with that in the red zone, but it doesn't matter. 17-16 against the Dolphins, and we take on the Jets next week, and I am excited for Mac Jones.
Yes.
I think he's going to bring good things to the team. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he'll do for the Patriots. I think, obviously, the loss against the Dolphins, first game of the season, could have been a lot of factors, but I think once Jones settles in a little bit and kind of gets used to being in New England and actually playing, I think it'll be a really good season.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones is doing a great job. I enjoy watching him play a lot more than Cam Newton personally. So I just think he's a much more fundamentally sound quarterback.
More reliable,
he threw a touchdown, just went right back to the bench, had his iPad out, no emotion. He's just very poised. Had just a very calm, humble way about him that I really like to watch. I thought he played really, really great and set them up to win the game. And unfortunately, the running back fumbled it, which that's going to happen. That's going to happen here and there. So they had the chance to win. I mean, Miami is very good. That coach has done a really good job. So it was a tough first game. I think they'll be fine against the Jets. It'll be nice to see them handle them pretty well.
And that word humble with QB1s is always important because that's almost the reason, and not even to discredit Newton because he should be a starting quarterback. He is at the point in his career where he has enough credit not to ride the bench. He just needs to find a new team almost. And I do agree that he wasn't the right fit for us.
Right.
And I'm excited to see Mac Jones, a young kid, doesn't have a lot of background, so he's looking to make some. He's looking to give himself a history.
Yeah, I think he's 21, so only a few years older than you guys. It's pretty crazy. I thought he handled it really well. I guess he and his fiance go out in their backyard. I think they live in Westwood.
Oh yeah, I heard about
and
that.
Run their plays.
Yeah.
So I think he's a pretty normal guy. So I think he'll fit well in New England, especially with Belichick being so picky and who he selects to bring to his team. I think he'll be a good fit with him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this week, folks, but tune in next week in the Roundtable for more updates on the pro and school sports. I'm Alex, this is Theo Raheel, and our special guest, Miss Sullivan, and that's a wrap.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.